Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Crown Knowledge Radio. This is Jordana Raffia, and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to the Crown, all my Crown family, everybody that's been rocking with me, new people that will be rocking with me, and all of those who are still on the fence about rocking with Crown Knowledge Radio. Well, if you want to hear a little bit of what I've done in the past, Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com is what I'm trying to say. If you can go over there and listen to my archive shows. But I am Crown Knowledge Radio on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Substack, and the newest platform for me, Stage 32. Shout out to all my platform family, Stage 32 family, for so far just rocking with me. I am no longer on TikTok, but I'm working on it. Go over and listen to anywhere social media, Crown Knowledge Radio, and listen to my latest post, truncating the truth, weaponizing lies, that is posted over on Substack and I believe on Patreon. But again, this is Jordana, and thank you for joining me for Crown Knowledge Radio. I am just doing a quick energy check today. Of course, my fans are outside. I don't know. I'm going to call them fans because at this point, they are outside 24/7, 365. The gang stalkers, the predators, the flunkies, the junkies, and the flying monkeys, they are outside doing their job. It's what they're being paid to do, most of them. Most of them being bribed to do. Most of them being lied to do. And coerced in whatever way. And some of them are just happy to jump on the bandwagon. Those would be family members. We call them family members, I believe. But most of them are just happy to jump on the bandwagon to target, gang stalk, sabotage, vandalize, and otherwise try to get you to react to the BS that is put down on a regular. But they're out there. They're outside currently. Took me about 3 hours to get on my computer this morning just to do, again, my daily tasks, pay bills, try to, get my email and everything. But they sit outside and they block. One thing they definitely block and take an interest in is me downloading photos and information from my cameras. Again, I've done posts about those, the targeting tactics, and I believe it's in 2 or 3, targeting tactics part 2 or 3, where I mention, vandalizing of devices in the home, everything down to my electric coffee pot. All of that stuff in my home has been destroyed by either they're accessing the house to do it, or they're doing it from outside the house with a direct energy weapon. And again, if this sounds weird to you on whatever platform you're listening to me on, and you want to know more about gang stalking, targeting, and what actually these weapons do, DEWs, and what they are, they do it by way of targeting tactics, go over to Substack. Not just my platform. I'm Crown Knowledge Radio over there. That's Crown with a K, by the way. And I'm over there as well, but there are plenty more individuals, including TargetedJustice.com, that have dug deep in this. And now, gang stalking is going mainstream. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the 60 Minutes show, the newscasts, they're over there as well, being posted on Substack about what is happening to individuals who are being targeted. This isn't regular stalking. I heard someone say, I had a relative, I can't remember what the story was, but they had a relative and somebody was stalking, and they just put out an order of restraint. Okay, it's not that simple. That's stalking. That's a crime as well. But this is like, I'm stalking you because I think you're cute, kind of stalking, and then they're stalking on steroids. And this is an organized, from what I understand, again, the individuals over on Substack can explain it much better They've done much more research. They've dived much deeper, and they've actually pulled out the receipts for the individuals that are actually doing this, that are gang stalking and targeting. And here they go again with my throat chakra. You guys, give me a minute, because they want me to STF, if you understand what I'm saying. FTSU. But yeah, so that part of it you can get over on Substack.com. They've done the research. They've dug deep. They've gone down the rabbit holes, confirmation, and they've done the work necessary to be able to bring this to light. And again, I always encourage individuals who are being gang stalked, who are being targeted, to tell your truth as well. Tell your truth. Tell the truth. Be careful and be wary of misinformation misfits, because that's their job as well, to go on these platforms and social media and say that hundreds of thousands of individuals across the globe, because it's not just in the United States, that we're all making this up. There's something wrong. It's something in the water that we're drinking across the globe, and we're making this up, which would just be ridiculous. So that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that this is a made up thing. It's not true. Again, there's some sort of connection in certain counties and certain places that if you contact law enforcement, they kind of double down on it, without even looking for the truth, without even trying to find out, are these weapons, can we detect these weapons being used in certain areas? And my understanding is they're being used in a lot of places that I was just aware of. And that's a new rabbit hole that I'm going down, is how the devices that are being used are set up in areas, in neighborhoods, where they are being directly, I guess, targeting, that they're directly targeting certain individuals, or are they targeting everybody? And I guess it depends on where you are on the list and what they're looking for in that particular neighborhood. But my understanding, and again, these stories and more are on Substack.com. If you go over there and you look at these particular stories, these particular individuals are doing the research. They're doing the work, finding out that I remember the utility trucks outside my home. As a matter of fact, I have photos of them. I remember them putting the additional wires and panels outside my house, and the increased activity in my body functions and what was being felt and how I felt it and how I was dealing with it. I remember that. I remember pretty much almost having to run a grown man out of my yard who said that he worked for a cable company but had no ID. He had no ID. He had no markers on his truck. He had no company number for me to call to verify what he was telling me, yet they were climbing up and down my poles. And I'm not the only one. Again, these stories are over on Substack. I didn't believe it myself, and it was happening to me until I saw this happening across the globe to certain individuals that said, yeah, this is, and now they're up. I guess they have them up so they could use these devices whenever they feel like, whether it's crowd control or whether it's targeting one individual. So that's a little bit more information on the DEWs that are being used to gang stalk and target particular individuals. Again, I see a lot of people are, saying why. Well, again, you can pull up the post that I've done on targeting tactics. I think I'm up to part 5, 1 through 5, and I've mentioned that as well. That is a long list of reasons, depending on who you are, who hired someone. It could be a private organization. So my understanding is that you can go on the black web and hire people. to get them to target someone for you. That's crazy. You can actually go on the internet somewhere and hire someone to target an individual for you based on anything. I don't like you. Your hair looks funny. You don't believe what I believe. You talk funny. I like the girl you're with, or I like the guy you're with. You're too happy. I don't know. Whatever is on your list. It's weird. But my understanding is some of the information, this is how it works. Another individual mentioned experimentation. That could be true too, based on, again, the information that someone else has done on Substack. Go over there, look at the information, read it for yourself. Experimenting with these particular devices to see how they interact with human beings. That's crazy. Again, in another post, I mentioned, and a few people mentioned over on Substack about Eric Snowden, I believe, Mr. Snowden, who had to leave the country because he was a quote-unquote whistleblower. Based on the information that he was uncovering, he had to leave the country because he was telling the truth. And nobody wanted him to tell the truth. My thing is, and I asked this in another post, is, now that it's coming out in the open, are they going to let him come back? Because it's being spoken now in the Senate. It's being spoken by the CIA, the FBI, those who are on the right side of those organizations. They're saying, look, this was happening in 1930, 1940, 1950. We've always been watching y'all. I mean, like, it's coming out just like the Alien Files and the Epstein Files. Everything's coming out. They're saying, yeah, we've been doing this. This stuff has been in place for some time. Based on, it's funny, y'all, my computer is running itself right now. I'm sitting here watching it just change tabs. It's weird, but again, my fans are outside. But yeah, so they've been uncovering this in Congress and Senate, and different organizations are coming out and saying, hey, they're some of them are retired, so the risk is sort of kind of minimal, but then there are others that are still in whatever organization they're in, and they're coming out saying, yeah, we were told to do this. This is what we've done. This is how we've done it. This is who we're watching, and this is why we're watching. We're implementing new technologies. We're putting up new forms of monitoring. We're doing new forms of tracking. We're getting more into American citizens, and I'm just saying American, but it's everywhere. Australia, Africa, China, Japan, shout out to Korea. I mean, they're doing it everywhere. And they're saying, yeah, we want more personal information on humans on this planet. Electronic microwave pulse devices used on human beings, wherever you are on the planet, to get more personal information on how we function as humans on the planet. That sounds to me like playing God, and I have a question mark behind it, because we're trying to find out how to further control, because we've been under control. I mean, any of you who out here know, but we want to find out, and for me, let me just speak for me personally. That's just general information. You can go find that anywhere, not just Substack. You can go anywhere, social media, and the stuff that I just told you is public knowledge. It's out there now. We didn't know it before, maybe years and years, centuries ago, but we know it now. Okay, so we know it now. But me personally, I am under surveillance 24/7, 365 for, I believe, the past 10, maybe 15 years. I might be short a few years, or I might be jipping myself. I might be jipping myself a few years, or, it could be right around there. 24/7, 365, to the point where the neighborhood was cleared out. And again, another Substacker had this similar story. And again, a TikToker. They cleared out the neighborhood of the individuals that at the time when my sister was living, she was familiar with. She pretty much knew everyone in the neighborhood. Pretty much. She interacted with them, gave them food, was very kind to them. When I showed up back in my old neighborhood, back in my old hometown, I watched these individuals being replaced by monitors, watchers, if you will, handlers. I don't know what you call them, when they just completely remove the individuals that was in these houses within a few blocks, several blocks actually, so that they can be in close proximity to do the gang stalking that they need to do. I watched this happen. The people that were familiar, except for a handful, are gone. A whole neighborhood just moved simultaneously. Maybe not the same day, but simultaneously they packed up and they moved. Why? Well, according to the individuals that go down that gang stalking rabbit hole, because they are either coerced, bribed, they are offered something to participate. And if they decide that they do not want to participate, then they move by whatever means necessary for them, for that house to be commandeered by a person that is part of the gang stalking behavior. I'm not even going to call them no group. If they want to call themselves a gang, it's the flying monkey gang, basically. So whoever wants to become a flying monkey, a junkie, a monitor, a handler, a watcher, a stalker, an antagonizer, if they want to be part of the street theater, if they want to sabotage your home, if they want to do breaking and entering, which they're doing, if they want to do any type of street theater, they want to use children, who's getting permission to let their children be part of gang stalking? That's weird. But I have posted photos over on Substack of it happening in my residence, in my yard, in my vicinity, around me, in front of my cameras. So that's not something I'm making up. I've already posted proof of it. I posted proof over on TikTok and they shut my TikTok down. So that's weird. But whoever wants to be a part of whatever this is, whether it's setting up the energy weapons, whether it's trying to monitor and see what effects this particular behavior is having on one individual or several individuals, I suspect that individuals that start out doing this or being a part of or agreeing to participate in this behavior and they want to change their mind, the behavior is then turned on them. And I believe that certain family members of mine did that. They found out. One I know in particular, my sister's passed away, so I can't ask her. But one individual who is still walking around, living, breathing, and was participating, changed their mind. And then they disappear. I haven't heard from them. So it's something about saying, that, and again, you're not being told the truth. Let's just start there. So if they say, hey, your family member's under investigation, we're doing this, and, we can't tell her, they could have someone that looks, quote unquote, official tell you. And then you find out, oh, this person was lying the whole time. And I was doing this to my family for nothing? On some BS? My understanding is you cannot change your mind, or there are consequences and repercussions to changing your mind if you choose to do so once you're in it. I saw it happen to someone when I first got here. There was someone that sort of kind of felt like it was wrong. At the time, my mother was alive. She happened to pass away as well during all this, mysteriously, quote unquote. And so this particular individual decided, hey, I'm going to try to help you instead of doing what they're doing. And he disappeared. I've never seen him again. I've never heard from him, never seen him again. So there's something about you participating in this behavior and not being able to change your mind. Because probably what they're doing and what you're seeing being done and the things that you're not seeing being done is going to happen to you if you change your mind. So that's another little tidbit I wanted to come back with on the targeting tactics. I'm not going to make a part 6 or or anything like that, because I am moving on to other things, other issues, other interests, and other layers of what's happening regarding gang stalking and being targeted and being a targeted individual. But again, if you have not heard the video regarding the young lady who was SA'd by one of these devices, I thought I was the only one. Apparently, she's not the only. We are not the only two. Did not know. Had no clue that you try to put the scenario together as you're going through it, as it's happening to you. And you know that it's a part of what you're going through, but you're not real sure how to explain it or how to figure out, what is happening. Like, what type of visualization do they have on your body? What are they looking at on your body as it relates to this device and your private organs? And again, something just popped up on Substack not too long ago that I commented on, and I'm like, yeah, that goes for defecation and urination as well. I thought it was something as like my reaction or something, but it is actually being done. I can't make this up. I'm not that good. I do a lot of things. Well, I know a lot of stuff about some things, but I'm not that good. This is something that I am still discovering, and apparently other people are too. But again, the good news is that the people that are on the right side of the law are telling the truth. This is something that is happening to individuals. I have been called crazy along with a bunch of other people. Is something wrong with family member? Yeah, she's changed. You're not the same. And I get it. I get it. And the only reason I'm kind of laughing about it is because I'm not the only one. And again, hundreds of thousands of people that live in different areas that never met each other cannot be making this up. Something is going on. Whether you believe it to be gang stalking or not, something is going on. But it's too much information out there now. It's too much stuff being uncovered, so you can't not think that, okay, somebody's making this up. Not even law enforcement. You can't look at people now and say, oh, this isn't happening, because social media is making it known, and they're pulling back the veil. They're uncovering the information. They're actually showing what's happening. And now there are mainstream news stories of individuals saying, hey, my neighbors is doing something weird in my house. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I'm being attacked. So you can't make it up. There's no way that hundreds of thousands of individuals making up, as soon as I go to sleep, bright lights are coming on through my window and they're banging music like it's 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm not the only one telling the story. I'm not the only one making this up. I'm not the only one that's expressing this. And now there are mainstream stories. Again, listen to my posts that I've made in the past, especially the targeting tactics, because I put a lot of that information that I'm going through that is now popping up everywhere. Again, not just in the United States. This is not just in the United States. This is everywhere. The movements might be different. The people that they hired might be different. The tactics that they use may vary a little bit. I don't see much variation, but they may vary a little bit based on who you are. I I feel for individuals who have children and pets that are going through this targeting type of behavior, because they're saying the pets and the children are not off limits. They're getting it too. That is criminal. That's inhumane. It's illegal. It is utterly insane that this type of behavior can happen. I say especially in the United States, but anywhere. And individuals are saying, yeah, Durdonna, this is happening to people everywhere. Like, and again, people want to ask me why. Well, why? I think one of the first questions one of my family members asked me was, well, why would somebody waste that? Yeah, why would anybody waste their time coming for you? That's a good question, boo boo. I asked the law enforcement that in 3 different states. I've asked psychologists, and I'm not the only person that went to a psychologist, because I truly thought that this was something that maybe I got a bad, I smoked a bad joint, got a bad batch of weed or something. I don't purchase drugs, but I get by with a little help from my friends back in the day. So back then, again, this is 15 years. Back then, when that behavior was happening and I was partaking, I'm thinking, I need to stop. I need to stop smoking. This is not good. Like, what is happening? But then it continued. And it continued from state to state to state. And I didn't believe that either until I heard a gentleman and his wife tell their story. They attempted to move 3 times. And each time they moved, they were still undertaken. There's no way I could make that up. I don't know those individuals, and I hope they're well, and I hope they're doing better, but some people are not, including myself. So I tell my family, okay, this is what I'll do. since I can't, there's no way that anyone in my family is going to dive deep to find out. Now, they'll believe something when it happens and you show them proof. But as far as them diving deep in a rabbit hole trying to find out what's going on with me, that's not going to happen. They're not, If one person says I'm crazy without a receipt, most, if not all, of my family are going to believe it with no receipt. That's weird. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it's already happened. It's already happened. But for me, you can't come up to me and say anything about anybody in my family unless you got proof. Unless I saw it for myself and I say, yeah, I know already. And yeah, you can keep that to yourself. I don't know what you're benefiting from telling me, but yeah, I already know. Or, well, I'll ask that person because I don't know you like that. You don't know my family like that. Yeah, whatever it is. That's my response. Yeah, I ain't going to get in the corner and kiki and ha with you for a discount card or to get my bills paid. That's weird. Why would I do that? I have to face my family. That's pretty fucked up for a family member. So again, that's the energy check. But the real energy check today was going down the rabbit hole, which I'll do a whole complete show on the devices, detecting the devices, because there are detectors. There are ways to detect if they are being directly pointed inside your home, which the one that's attacking me is. And I think it's more than one. They're directed in your home, and they use it mostly at night as far as I know, but they're using it on me right now. So anything to deter me from getting on my platform and telling the truth. And if you haven't heard Truncating the Truth and Weaponizing Lies that I just posted, you got to listen to that show. It is something about the truth being told right now that is almost becoming illegal to tell the truth. Well, I said almost, but it probably in some circles is, yeah. But using lies and the truth as weapons, I am a living, breathing example of how lies, and we're not talking about the quote unquote little white lie. We're talking about lies that have ammunition, lies that have poison in them, lies that have razor blades in them, lies that have deadly, if not fatal, repercussions. These are the type of lies that put people's lives in danger. Especially people that don't know you, because most people don't care about you like you care for yourself. They don't care. If there's a dollar involved, even more so. And these flunkies, junkies, flying monkeys, gang stalkers, they know that. They know if they find the right individual, that they could put a couple of dollars in their pocket to do some heinous shit to somebody that they don't know. They're going to take that offer, especially in today's economy. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And there are people out there doing probably way worse to put some money in their pocket, to put food on the table, to feed their children. But I can't say that people have not been harmed to get their bill, to get somebody's bills paid. If you want your bills paid, this is what you have to do to get some food on your table. You're going to have to unalive somebody. I didn't want to go there, but if you go over to Substack, they will tell you about how the hitmen come into play. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them can be hired off the dark web. They can be hired to come in your neighborhood, and they'll put them in a home, a building, a garage somewhere near you, so that they can watch your every move. They know when I get up out of my bed. They know when I walk around my house. They know what window I'm at. They know what store I go to. And they say, well, change up your routine a little bit. For what? Who am I running from? And why? Well, don't go the same way every time. Who am I dodging? Who am I running from? And why? What am I hiding? Why do I have to duck and dodge? Why should I change my routine? I see them and they see me. When I come out to get my mail, they know what's in my mailbox before I do. Oh, wow, Dordonna, well, how can they know that? How does the police know? How do my neighbors know? How do the people who ride past my house on a regular know? How do they know I check my cameras? How do they know when to take my cameras down? Those are very good questions. I have the same questions. So I'm not saying I'm coming on here saying, oh, I know everything there is. No, I don't. But the more it happens, the more that it's around, the more that you see. And again, this story is also over there on Substack. Y'all gonna have to do some digging, because they've got a lot of information on how targeting, gang stalking, ritual, I know that sounds weird, street theater behavior, and the devices, the DEWs that are being used to make this all pop. They want to be close. They want to see what they're doing. They want to see the effects of it. They want to see what's happening to you. Are you down and out enough for them to come in and finish the job? Can they get to you? Can they stop your bank accounts? Can they turn off your appliances, your television? What can they do? Anything that can possibly be done to trigger you into taking out your own light. Which has happened once again. Again, I can't make this up. This is a mainstream news story where someone took their own life, and someone who unalived somebody, someone who unalived themselves, and someone who unalived somebody. I can't make that up. Those are mainstream news stories. So that's part of the narrative of the picture that they're trying to paint about you, the person, the targeted individual, the TI. They know. please check out this information. Please go over to Substack. Tell your story. If you felt for a while that something has not been right in your life, that something has just been happening for no reason, like you feel different, your body feels different, you feel like when you're sleeping, like the whole room is buzzing, like anything. You went outside and it was a green car in front of the house, and then today now there's a blue car parked in front of the house. Whatever it is, your shoestrings came up missing. I don't care what it is. Start paying very close attention. Everybody's got their phone out now. Everybody is recording. Unfortunately, I ended up having to call the authorities because my gang stalkers that on that particular day were children. Children. I can't make this up. There's a police report and I have camera footage. I don't get on here and tell lies because that is dangerous. You can get someone hurt by telling lies. At some point, these flunkies, junkies, and flying monkeys believe their own lies because they've been told it over and over again. That is mind control. You keep telling these individuals that somebody, oh, we're doing this because they're a bad person. They did this and they did, but they've never seen you do anything bad. This person is, oh, they're nasty, they're evil, they're conniving, they're thieving, they're this and they're that, but you've never seen it. But because you want that reward, you want that recognition, you may even want the acceptance for just being part of something, anything. There's a lot of people out there like that too. I get to have a lot of people around me telling me, good job, you're doing a great job. If you've never heard that before, I've heard the watchers and handlers tell my targeters, good job, when they've delayed me at the pharmacy or they've put a weapon on me, a device on me in service, in a church service with my family, my mother in particular. And when it's all over, they'll actually tell them, good job, you're doing a good job. And a lot of people haven't heard that before. A lot of people haven't gotten that recognition or that confirmation or that acceptance in their life. That's sad to think about, but it's true. And for someone to smile at you and, hand you a discount card or some money or pay one of your bills and tell you, good job, you're doing a great job. That's a lot to somebody that's never had it before, that needs that pat on the back or that hug. And then back out in the street doing evil. And they're grooming their children to do this. I think that is inhumane. There's got to be some type of child neglect law that goes along with this. But children are in the street, and teenagers, children, young adults, and teenagers are being groomed to bring this type of behavior to neighborhoods near you. So, go down the rabbit hole with us on Substack.com, Spreaker.com if you want to hear my archive shows. I am Crown Knowledge Radio everywhere, social media platforms. That is Crown with a K. Crown Knowledge Radio. I am Dordana Raffia, and you have been listening to Crown Knowledge Radio. Radio, why? Because it's a frequency, baby, and I like to keep it high. That's why. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back with more. We're going to spread a little love over the springtime and the summertime because the veil is coming off. I can't make this up. If you don't believe what I'm saying, don't take my word for it. I'll tell you right now, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Thank you for rocking with me on Crown Knowledge Radio. I'll be back.